The process was a bit like the peeling of an onion. We have started off with very sort of careful conversations. We weren't allowed to see the marble, we were just allowed to see a photograph. That eventually progressed to a visit to an unlikely location in upstate New York, where Andromeda was hidden in a tower, literally, wrapped up in packing blankets, and she had been there for 35 years. I mean, it really was sort of a Sleeping Beauty moment. It felt incredibly exciting to be in the presence of a major late Renaissance, early Baroque, life-size marble figure of Andromeda that had ended up in upstate New York. It was made by Olivieri for Ciriaco Mattei, who was a Roman nobleman at the end of the 16th century in Rome. In this particular case, with Andromeda, we had a signature by Olivieri, so that is a wonderful starting point. We know who the artist is. Then we find out that that artist worked for the Mattei family, and he had a very famous garden, and so it all sort of unpeels from there. Olivieri was working for Mattei and working on a series of life-size marble figures for his garden. He had a very famous Baroque garden built just on the outside of Rome. And Andromeda was part of this garden. There were dozens of pieces. This was one of the more important ones because it was commented on constantly by visitors. Italians were visiting it, obviously, because that was their home, but also Germans, Dutch, Swedes, Englishmen. Many of them wrote travel diaries about their time in Rome, and they refer to her as contemporary art, which is kind of wonderful. The sculpture itself is a magnificent survival from the late Renaissance. If you look at her, she's got amazing braids at the back of her head. She's got pearls woven into her hair, pearl necklace, very delicate chain around her waist. All of that is largely preserved and in fantastic condition. After the 1770s, the Mattei family sold many of their sculptures. Some ended up in the Vatican, some in the Louvre, eventually some ones even in the Met here in New York. But she disappeared, and we don't know where she went. That's what makes this moment so wonderful, because from the 1770s until 2014, we don't know where she was. And even though there's a gap from 1770 until 2014, we still feel incredibly fortunate to have been able to fill in as much of the background as we could. It's incredibly exciting to have a late Renaissance life-size marble figure, and basically Andromeda is in miraculous condition.